Hey, what's up? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome back to another video. If you're new around here, I'm Ben Rollins and this channel's all about live loop and upload 3 videos just like this one every single week. So if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing. Now in today's video, I'm going to show you how I'm running my in-ear monitoring setup and how I'm running the click track on the Boss RC-505. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I reviewed the wireless in-ear router that I'm running in today's video. Now, if you want to learn more about that, check out this video here. But in that video, I got asked, how am I actually routing the audio from my entire rig to my in-ear monitoring setup and then into my ears? So that's what we're going to take a look at in today's video. Now, I'm running Ableton Live as my primary mixing interface and everything. All my inputs are routed into my computer and then I can control them in Ableton Live, EQ them, etc. But the most interesting thing is what I'm doing with the Boss RC-505. Now on the Boss RC-505, I'm using the rhythm section, which usually plays you like cheesy drum beats and all that sort of stuff, to just run a metronome. So this click track on the metronome is routed into Ableton Live and then to me, just in my ears, because obviously I don't want the crowd to hear the constant click, 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 because it's quite irritating for 2 hours. So only I have to put up with that. So let's hop into Ableton Live first and I'll show you how it's routed. So if we take a look at my Ableton Live set, you can see I have all of my inputs. I've got my drum track and then I've got my Kemper, Nord, vocals, and then I've got my Boss RC-505 all coming in on the standard inputs on the mixer. Now as you can see here, I have my click track coming in on input 7. Now this is the click track that's coming from the Boss RC-505 and I'll explain how I'm sending this click track a little bit later on in the video. But if we look at the sends, here in the sends feature, I'm sending stuff to different outputs here. So for example, I've got my reverbs, all that sort of stuff that's going to front of house. But I've got B, which is for bend in ears there. That's me. That's for my in-ear monitoring setup. So anything that's on B is going to my wireless router, which is then obviously going into my ears. And then obviously, as we've touched on in previous videos, send E is where I'm sending the audio to my RC-505. So as you can see, the click track is on full kilt and everything is 100% sent to B so I can hear the click. And the same goes for everything else as well. As you can see, we have send B for literally everything at full kilt going into my ears, because I'm not really one that has that much of a complicated in-ear monitoring setup. All I need to hear is the click track really, and then everything else in my ears, I'm happy to have that exactly how it's coming out the front of house. So that was an overview of how the Ableton Live set is running. Now the way I've got the Boss RC-505 set up is quite interesting. So out the box, the Boss RC-505, everything at default goes through the front of house speakers. So your rhythm track, which in our case today is our metronome, the loops, etc., inputs, outputs, whatever. But the way I've changed it on the Boss RC-505 is I'm utilizing the headphone jack on the back. So again, by default, the headphone jack has everything routed to it. But today I've set it up so I only have the metronome in isolation coming out of the headphone out. So I'll show you how I've done that and how I've disabled the monitoring of the loops. If we start with our system settings and we scroll all the way over to the right until we get to out level select. Now currently it's set up to phones. Out the box it'll say line plus phones. But the benefit of setting it to phones is this knob here, the output level knob, allows you to independently control the output level of your headphones. So this allows us to turn the click up and down throughout the set. Whereas if it was set up the other way, it controls the output of the loop pedal and the output of the headphones, and it starts to get a little bit complicated. So if we exit out and we have that set up to phones, we're then going to head over to our memory settings. So if we head into our memory settings and we scroll across until we get to phone out. Now I have mine set to monitor because if it's on main, it's just going to play everything from that line out into the headphones. So we're going to set this to monitor so we separate it. And then
This is how we disable the track monitoring, so of the loops coming through our headphones. So if they're circular, this means these tracks are going to play through our headphone out. And obviously we don't want this because we just want the click track to be on its own channel and nothing else other than the click track. So we're just going to turn the dial to the left until they're all dashed lines like this. And then we can exit out and we would save this to the memory. The next setting we're going to adjust is down here in our rhythm settings. We're going to click edit and we're going to scroll across. Now the metronome pattern I have is metronome 2 because with metronome 1 it has an accent on the first beat of the bar and it's a really irritating ding and it's a really loud chime and it becomes quite fatiguing on the ears when you have it on for a while. So I just have it as a solid click with no accent on the 1. You get used to it because at first you're a bit like, oh, where's the 1 at? But you just get used to counting and stuff like that and it's just a little bit more subtle on the ears. So that's how I prefer to run it. Now we're going to have our line out to off because if you set this to on, the rhythm sounds will be outputted from the line output of the jack and the headphones jack. So this means it will play through the front of house as well as your headphones. So we obviously just want the click track to be separate and just go through our in-ear monitors. So we have to set this to off. That's an essential setting to set. Now we exit out and again save this to the memory by clicking right, etc. And that's all the settings sorted.
So using the Sends feature, the way I route the audio to my in-ear monitors is I use the external out. So as you can see on Ben in ears, I have it set to external out 9 and 10. So this sends a stereo mix to my transmitter, which then goes to my wireless receiver, which I wear on my belt. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving me a like and a subscribe. My channel's all about live looping, upload live looping tutorials, live looping performances every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I've been Ben Rowlands. You can find me online at benrowlandsmusic.com. If you want to learn more about live looping, check out this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.